Hello and welcome to another Demon 212 PS Vita review. Today I'm going to finally be taking a look at Borderlands 2, which if you've never played it before, it's a port of Borderlands 2. It's an FPS game, but it's also an RPG and an adventure and this, that and the other mixed together, and it's just... Honestly, Borderlands 2 was quite possibly one of my all-time favourite games now, and it's why as soon as they mentioned there was a Vita version coming, I was always going to buy it. Unfortunately, due to funds and things, I didn't have the ability to buy it right at launch. I actually tried to, but then there was a store online that completely screwed me over, took the money, didn't send the game, and then I had to wait weeks to get a refund, which is why I'm now finally reviewing the game here. You also might have, if you see my PC review, where I said I was going to be doing that one, trying to aim for around about launch. Hopefully you haven't had to wait too long, but at the same time it mightn't even gone up, and both of them might go up together simply because my brother who edits my vids, I know fine well, has been incredibly busy. But the PC review was basically a very in-depth, in-detail review. This one is just going to really cover the Vita version, you know. If you want the full spiel, if you want everything it's got, then you're probably going to have to watch that, and I know there's going to be a lot of people going, you should have done that in this one. Go check the length of the other one and then see why, because otherwise I'd be doing two vids that were around about 30 minutes long, and this one will be longer because there's then the stuff I need to mention for the Vita. First up, controls, because I have seen so many vids and so many reviews and watched so many and read so many, and I've yet to find out a damn thing about the controls. Everyone just says it controls well. Well, I suppose what I need to mention in the options, you've got all the usual gameplay stuff that are pretty much the same stuff on the PC. That I don't think I've noticed anything missing, with the obvious exception of the video options being severely reduced because you can't choose graphic settings and that, because it's a Vita, it runs exactly how it's designed to. There's the controller presets though, and the preset controls personally I think are pretty bad, but you can fully customize it, with the exception of you can't use the D-pad. And it's because you can never do the D-pad in a Borderlands game. The D-pad is always the D-pad, it's always to choose weapons, which is a shame when you consider triangle does that too, when you can push and hold triangle as well, and to get a view of the D-pad version. So I almost feel like, why is triangle there? Triangle, especially on the Vita when your button's missing, that should have been used for another function really, you know. You should have been able to siphon one of them, because as you might have noticed, each thing has certain commands on it, and some of them do more than one. For example, rear touch, it's sprint and vehicle handbrake. Well, that's okay, because at the end of the day you're never going to sprint while you're in a vehicle, and you're never going to handbrake while you're not, you know. But there's other ones like the reload button is use, reload, enter vehicle, switch seats, pick up things and that, and it's just insane. It almost makes us feel like maybe triangle could be for switching seats or something, you know. I don't know, but at least you can customize and change it around, and I have kind of had to do a little bit of work to make it fine for me. Standard is basically, that is melee and that is sprint. Now for me, aiming and constantly tapping to melee when I'm playing as, for example, Krieg, who I am now, who you have to melee with a lot. Well, you don't have to, but meleeing is pretty much his big deal, you know. I find that awkward to aim when I'm constantly having to tap the Vita, so I've actually swapped them two around, so now that's sprint and that's melee, and I find that easier for me. I've made bottom right corner instead of grenade, bottom right corner is use pick up, because the amount of times you have to push that button, I worry it's going to wear the button out on a Vita, and when it's a pad, you kind of don't really care. Pads aren't that expensive, you can get another pad at any point, but I'm not buying another system just because I've worn out square, because I have to push it about 1 billion times just to pick up, activate, do this, that and the other with the game, because that's what Borderlands is. There's a lot of that. Even the ability to walk into money and ammo now, even though they've done that so that you don't have to push it as much, you still have to push it an awful lot. So the touchscreen, it makes perfect sense for me. I doubt that's going to wear it out at any point. You know, I'd have to have very acidic well, fingers and things like that, and like the oils, because I know everyone says you've got natural acids, which is why comic books and any form of book really can get destroyed, but I severely doubt there's enough to make me wear out the corner of a screen. So instead I swapped over grenades, so now grenade's a button, because I personally think trying to aim your grenade, you know, touching there and aiming to throw a grenade is a nightmare, whereas instead I can make it a button that I can quite easily actually hit whilst aiming. And even if I have to do that, you know, and it's just one of those things. With a little bit of work, I've made the controls good enough for me. Graphically, the game is a sharp, noticeable difference for me because I play the PC version. But people who play the PS3 version, they say it's not that much of a drop. Because that's what this is based on, because there's crossplay on that as well, and it's why you get 6 DLC packs and that, and because all the DLC's already been released for the PS3, and I really hope it gets supported with the others, because the 4th DLC pack, as I mentioned in the PC review, is magnificent. It's the best. It could well be the best DLC Borderlands has ever had over its whole lifespan. It's just one of those things I'd love to see it actually get supported. I'd hate to think that all we're going to get are these 6, especially because the Ultimate Vault Pack takes you up to level 61. You can go up to level 72, and you can over-level to level 80 on the PS3 version. It's got cross-save. How the hell's that work? You know? I mean, as soon as you hit level 61, that's it. You can't progress any further with that character on the Vita. And if you transfer it over to the PS3, I severely doubt it's going to let you pull them back onto the Vita. And if it does, will it automatically drop them to 61, so you have to get up again? It's just one of those things. It's why it makes more sense for the DLC to come out. Yeah, they shouldn't have done, at launch, they shouldn't have made like all DLC free. I mean, it was generous enough giving us 6 DLC packs. And they've got to make money, they've got to make, it's a business at the end of the day. But I'd love for them to come out and say, there's the rest of the DLC, we're going to charge you £20, which is pretty much what the game cost me anyway, and then it means you've paid £40 for the full Game of the Year edition, which is pretty much average pricing, you know. I don't think they'd come out and say, there's the rest of the DLC for £10. If they did, I'd be over the moon, but I don't think they will. But I'd be prepared to pay £20. And there's a lot of people probably thinking, if you've already played this game, why play it again? Well, as I've already said, it's one of my favourite games that's ever been made. As soon as I found out the Nintendo DS was getting Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, I bought a DS. I sat and I waited throughout the entire lifespan of the DS to get Ocarina, which was kind of confirmed at the start, and it never came out. I had no interest in the 3DS because at the time the DS had gone to crap and I thought, I'm not going to buy it. I found out that 100% confirmed this time, The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time was coming to the 3DS. Bought a 3DS the next day. Well, to be fair, I see it the next year. I pre-ordered one the next year. I got it at launch. It wasn't out at that time. But games that you love are enough to make you buy them again if you really do love them. And in the case of Borderlands, I really do love them. I love every single one of them. I can't wait for the pre-sequel. So I was always going to get it to play it again, because even though I've put like 600 hours into the PC version, now I've got it in the palm of my hand. And I've mentioned the graphics. I'll also mention how you're probably going to notice it right away. There, an enemy's just blew up. The majority of people are complaining about that. They like the dead bodies with the ragdoll effects. Personally, I'm the other way. Whenever I play a Borderlands game, if I get a weapon so powerful that it makes my enemy explode, I absolutely love it. So the fact that every single enemy explodes, no matter how powerful the weapon is, actually just makes me feel more powerful, and I enjoy that more. I think it's a better system. I kind of think they should be doing it in all Borderlands. But again, you're never going to be able to please everyone. Some people dislike the fact that now the enemies just explode. Some people don't love it, you know. I am definitely in the love it camp. There's then a severely reduced enemy count in certain places, and that is a bit of a shame because it kind of makes the game easier. I don't even think they've adjusted for the difficulty that much, and maybe when they release the Ultimate Vault Hunter, or the True Vault Hunter, whichever the latest Vault mode is, basically playthrough 3, hopefully they'll adjust the difficulty so that the enemies have got more energy and more bullets, and like they're harder to make up for the lack of enemies. But at the same time, it's nothing like, well, for example, Dead Rising, when it was ported to the Wii, that was a really, really reduced enemy content. You know, it was significant enough to not so much ruin the game, but it drastically changed it. I don't think this is the same case at all. So I think that's pretty much all I can really say about the Vita differences, really, and that's all this video is supposed to be. As far as I'm concerned, considering how much time I've put into Borderlands, I don't dislike this version at all. I actually really like it. I'm glad it's there. I've always got the PC version, which I can play for the graphics or for the slightly better controls, or you know, this, that and the other, like the higher enemy count. But being able to have Borderlands, even if we call it Borderlands 80% or something, even having an 80% version in the hand, in my own hands when I go into a doctor's office or anything if I have to, then that's just absolutely phenomenal for me, and it made my day finally getting it and discovering that they hadn't absolutely ruined it or anything, you know. So yeah, I think that is pretty much all I could say about the Vita differences. I hope I haven't forgot anything. I at least don't think I forgot anything major, because I mean, I've covered the graphics, I've covered the controls, I've covered the lack of enemies, like the reduced enemy count and that, and to my knowledge they are the only main differences. The only thing I suppose I haven't covered is that because it's a weaker system, there is from time to time some slowdown, but mainly the slowdown seems to be at its worst when you're in Sanctuary. So it both matters and doesn't matter, because you spend a lot of time in Sanctuary, so that's why it matters. But at the same time, you never get attacked in Sanctuary. It's a hub, you go there and you're perfectly safe, so the slowdown doesn't really bother me. It's just a bit of an annoyance at best. So I suppose that is the only other thing I could have mentioned, you know. So there we go then. That's been the review. I hope you found it helpful. I don't score the games because that's based purely on opinion, so instead I'll leave you to make your own mind up. So thanks for watching, and if you've got any questions about the game that I didn't answer in the vid, or that hasn't been answered in the comments, then feel free to ask and I'll help if I can. Also, if you did find it helpful, don't forget to check out my channel, because there's plenty more like this up there, and don't forget to subscribe because there'll be plenty more to come as well. So until next time, this has been Demon212, signing off.